Hey YouTube, I'm Bearco with Bearco Training. Thank you all for watching today. One of the questions that I get in a lot of my training courses is what happens when the magazine insert sends the slide forward? How should we handle that in training sessions? I used to teach that if that takes place, then hey, go with it. It's going to be faster, get the gun back out there, start shooting again. The problem is I've seen too many cases where students have done just that. Magazine insert, slide goes forward under its own power, drive the gun back out, and they end up getting a click instead of a bang because the gun had failed to chamber that round correctly. Ultimately, when that takes place, the student ends up having to respond by tapping and racking, or they sit there and try to slow down, try to diagnose, try to look at it, and figure out what's going on. The problem is had they just been consistent with an overhand rack after the magazine insert, the gun would have been fired in a shorter amount of time. So I believe that in the long run, that it is going to be faster. Just recently, I saw it happen last month in a training course, and I think a month before that, I saw it happen 3 times in one class with one student. So I see it happening enough that I believe that it's going to be better for us in the long run, that even though if you recognize the slide went forward, doesn't matter, respond by overhand racking on magazine insert, and in the long run, it's going to be something that we can depend on a little bit better. What about those students who are developing a habit that magazine insert sends a slide forward? What happens when magazine insert does not send the slide forward? Just this past month, I had a student in a training course that his duty issue Glock 17 pretty consistently would have the slide drive forward on magazine insert. We talked about it thoroughly during the class. He had built a habit that he could send the magazine into the magazine well, get the gun back out there and start shooting again. We talked about it a good bit. I saw him a few days ago, and he said that they were doing some department training, and he said, would you believe that not once did my slide drive forward on magazine insert during that class? Well, here's the problem. He had developed a habit that it always took place. And now all of a sudden he's putting the magazine into the magazine well, driving the gun back out there, and he's getting a mushy trigger because the slide wasn't forward rather than the bang that he was expecting. So now he's got to slow down, he's got to figure out what's going on, he's got to tap rack, he's got to get the gun back out there. This was in training, but this was also his duty gun. What happens if that takes place when he's trying to respond to a threat and he ends up with an emergency or critical incident type reload? He ends up being a lot slower under that type of environment. If he builds the habit that magazine insert always means overhand racking, then we can count on that going to get the gun back into the fight in a shorter amount of time in the long run. Again, I'm Bearco with Bearco Training. I hope to see y'all on the range sometime. Remember, get out there and train realistically. Thanks again for watching this video.